Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out on a rather dismal night, but we hope we're going to brighten your evening up with some America's music, jazz, and I've had a great time working not only with the band directors and the hosts and all that, but certainly these young jazz lions, we'll call them, up on stage. We've only had a couple days to put a program together. A lot of times your high school bands and even our college bands take weeks to put a program together. So to do this in 1.5, actually 2.5 days, it takes a lot of work, and I give them a whole lot of credit. The first tune that we did, and there will be some things on the program that we will stick to, and then we're going to call an audible here. But the first tune is the one that's on your program called Happy Blues. And it was written by a wonderful gentleman by the name of Bill Potts. I always do something in this state by a Maryland composer. We have a couple of them that are highly recognized. Hank Levy, who was at Towson for 40 some odd years. Bill Potts, who wrote this tune, Happy Blues, for the Buddy Rich Big Band, taught at Montgomery College in Rockville, Maryland for over 40 years too. So how about a hand for our soloist? That was Matt on the tenor saxophone. Over here we have Dallas on the guitar. Jonathan on the piano. We'd like to go back into the 1960s and do a piece that is actually in the top 10 of all jazz hits of all times. The top jazz tune of all times by numerous polls is a Miles Davis recording called All Blues. But Oliver Nelson, the wonderful saxophonist, put together a recording back in the 60s called Blues in the Abstract Truth. And from that recording, one of the great jazz standards of all times is a piece called Stolen Moments. We'd like to do that for you right now. It's arranged by Paul Jennings and myself, and this is called Stolen Moments by Oliver Nelson. folks. That was Stolen Moments. How about a great hand for our trombone guys over here? Guy over here, Richard Guy, all right? And Paul on the trombone. Jason on the alto saxophone. Back there you'll hear him on acoustic bass and electric bass, but this time on acoustic. Nice hand for Matt back there on the bass. And Lindsay on the jazz trumpet doing the Freddie Hubbard imitation. Now, there's a piece that we're going to do right now that was just sent to me by a good friend of mine. His name is Alan Vizzuti. He might not be a household name for you folks. If he isn't, dial him up. It's easy to find Google and iTunes and all that stuff. Alan is a world-class trumpet player, both from the classical and the jazz side. He, when he got out of college at Eastman up in Rochester, immediately went on the road with the Woody Herman Big Band. Some of you may remember that group. And then he went on the road with Chick Corea, who is still very visible and certainly a big name in the jazz world. Alan actually has his own group and all that, and he does a lot of writing. So he sent me a few of his recent charts, and we'd like to use one of them that they only saw yesterday. Right, guys? Yeah? Okay. They only saw it yesterday. We passed it out, and it reflects where he lives now. He's originally from Missoula, Montana, but he's been living in Seattle for many years. And we're going to do a piece that reflects one of the places that he plays at in Seattle called Jazz Alley. That's the name of a jazz club. That's also the name of this tune. Jazz Alley by Al Vizzuti. once again, Dallas on the guitar, Dominic on the alto saxophone, and over here on the drum set, Evan. And that was Jazz Alley. Now we're going to try to do a whole bunch of different styles. We'll do swing tunes, as you heard with Happy Blues, and a slower swing tune in Stolen Moments. This tune here had a slightly different personality. The next one is totally different. In jazz terms, they call it a jazz rock or a funk tune. This was written by a trumpeter who grew up in Buffalo, New York, and actually is the CEO and the owner of one of the big music publishing companies, particularly for jazz music, called Kendor Music, up in Delavan, New York. But Jeff Jarvis is a world-class trumpet player, like Al Vizzuti, and he now is living in California. He's teaching at Cal State Long Beach, and he's contributed a tune for his own big band we'd like to do for you right now. This is called Critical Mass. energy coming out of the band on that. How about a great hand for our soloist, Dominic, once again, on the alto saxophone. Dallas again on the guitar. I want to single out this young man over here. He dialed this whole thing up on your jazz phone, I think, or however, and learned that Barry part. How about a nice hand for Armando on the Barry saxophone? And our two percussionists back there working hard. That's Evan and Kenneth back there. And that's Critical Mass. Now, we rolled back the clock to the 1960s. We're going to go back to 1941. And we're going to do a piece with a totally different personality to it. Again, a different flavor. This is a ballad, the only slow piece we're going to do in our group of 6. And this was written for the Count Basie Big Band. And one of the great composers that wrote for that band for many years was Sammy Nestico. Another one was Neil Hefti. Another one was Don Costa. So we're going to do Don's piece called Easy Street. We did Jazz Alley. We're going to another street now. This is Easy Street. You'll hear from Lindsay back there on the trumpet. And we'll feature the trombone section on this too. Easy Street by Don Costa. It's Lindsay over there in the trumpet section on the solo. Jonathan over here on the piano. And that was Easy Street. We have one more number for you, and before we do that, I want to thank Ms. Kahn and Jerry Kavanaugh, all the band directors who've been so supportive. I do a lot of these. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania in 2 weeks doing another district band, and I do a lot of all-state bands. But this is probably the biggest support group that I've seen in a long time. Normally I get a manager and I show up in a band and that's pretty much it. But between our host Chris here and Eric, who helped out initially getting me in place, Deborah, who recently retired, has been trying to get me here for 3 years, Brian, Matt, all the band directors and all that, you should all give them, your band directors, how about giving them a great applause for supporting you, in addition to your family members out here. I'm very thankful to be able to do something in my native state is New York, but my resident state by a long shot is Maryland, so it's always great doing something here. As a matter of fact, I heard that the all-state band performed at UMBC this afternoon, and of course I'm very partial to that because I conducted the Maryland All-State Band last year, and that was my 3rd time doing that, so I love doing things in this area. Are you here for a reason? I get a paper bag. That's what you want to talk? I think this thing went off. Silent night. Okay. Hello. Hello. No. Okay. We may have gone out of battery time, so we'll speak. I don't know, Brian. I'm not sure what to do here. Okay, you're on your own.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say a few things on behalf of all the students up here. First of all, thank you to all the directors and staff from the county that have been able to put this on. It's been an immense help to us. You know, everything we needed has always been here for us, no matter what. They helped us out in the sectionals yesterday. So another big round of applause for all these. Ever since we started practicing on Thursday night, I can't say enough about how much Mr. Vidal has helped us out, and just everything you see up on stage here today, he's made possible. Like they've talked about his credentials a million times tonight, but I just have to say it again. It's been amazing to work with him. He's always had something productive to say, and no matter what, we've always been driving forward, making it sound better, and it's all because of him. So thank you so much for coming up.
We'll go micless for now, so this is acoustic. Thank you all for coming out. I know it wasn't a pleasant day to be here, but supporting the arts in general and jazz in particular is extremely important. There are counties in the state of Maryland that don't even have this. Don't have jazz bands. Some of the elementary programs, the root system has been trimmed and cut to the point. So this, keep this alive, please. This is important. And these are the crusaders that keep our music, the America's music, alive. They are embracing the likes of the Duke Ellingtons and the Count Basies and the Miles Davises, and the names go on and on. The tune we're going to conclude with now, and I'm going to have a show of hands because this may indicate how long you've been watching TV. All right? If you can reach back a number of years, there's a show that's been on, certainly, the Tonight Show has been on for a lot of years. But for 30 years, there's a gentleman by the name of Johnny Carson that had the TV show, but even more importantly from a music standpoint, the name Doc Severinsen, leader and trumpet player in that band, had that band on TV for 30 years. So if you remember Doc Severinsen in that band, raise your hands. That's a good enough. You all showed your age. But we are going to do something. These folks know this, okay? This is straight from the Doc Severinsen Big Band. So they are playing pro charts. This was written by a guy that I grew up with in Lower New York State. I went to school with him. I traveled with him on the road. He was our lead trumpet player with the Chuck Mangione Orchestra. But he wrote a number of tunes for the Doc Severinsen Band. His name is Jeff Tyzik. And this is in tribute to a gentleman we heard earlier. Oliver Nelson wrote Stolen Moments. When I was in college, I had the extreme pleasure of having Oliver Nelson as our guest soloist and conductor. And he made such an impression on all of us that Jeff went right out and wrote this piece. So we'd like to do it for you right now. It has 3 different facets. It starts out like a concert band, symphonic band. Then the rhythm section will take it into what we call a Latin or montuno groove. And in the middle of the tune, it'll go into straight ahead swing. So you'll hear the band shows a lot of different aspects of the jazz tradition in this one tune. And the soloist you'll hear from Luke over here on the tenor saxophone. We'll hear from Alex over here on the vibes. And we'll hear from our two percussionists once again, Evan and Kenneth. And also Dallas will show up at the end of the tune. I gave away the surprise. But this is called Oliver. Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you. How about a nice hand for this great band? Not any slant on the mature folks here, we call the seniors. But if you're not a senior, raise your hand. How about that? They've lent a lot of maturity to this group, but to see how many freshmen, sophomores, juniors in this band shows you that this whole root system will grow. Whoever gets this band next year or the band after, and all of these folks, it's bound to be something special. But anyway, we'll close out 2014 with Oliver by Jeff Tyson. At the end, stand up. Again, at the end, stand up. And remember, I need the music. You're in charge. Okay, here we go. Focus.